Hello and welcome to this Knit Sip Happy bonus episode. I'm calling this a mini-sode because it's gonna be shorter than the last one. You are getting Sunday Nancy, glasses and all. I tried recording this yesterday after work and it didn't work out so well for me. So we're trying again. Welcome. I'm Nancy, also known as Knit Sip Happy everywhere on the interwebs. I'll have everything linked down below that I'm going to talk about. I'm coming to you today from a beautiful Moncton, New Brunswick on the east coast of Canada. I'm back out in my screen room with my laundry on the wash line behind me. It is going to be a glorious 23 degrees and sunny this afternoon. You may hear a little bit of traffic noise from the road, but I'm spending as much time outside as I can in this lovely weather. So, first things first, what I'm wearing, it's Saoirse. You've seen this before if you've been around. And I'm going to back up the truck a little bit. If you have been here before, thank you. If you're new, I've had quite a few new followers from the lovely Allie, Little Drops of Wonderful, and Kirsty and Tracy, Little Wool and Wishes podcast, and from my trip to England and the Southern Wool Show. So if you are new around here, welcome. As I said, this isn't a normal full episode. We're just going to talk about the Woolstock East Fiber Festival that happened last weekend and 2 whips. That's all I've got for you today, so we're going to be short and sweet. So back to what I'm wearing. This is Saoirse. I'm still in my short-sleeved summer tops, and I'll put a picture in one side or the other, and I guess this one's got a bit more room because I don't want to have to stand up and have to redo. Oh goodness, shedding. And I'm sipping a little Sangiovese Rose. I was also sipping this yesterday when I was talking to you, and there's a little bit left in the bottom of the bottle, so it came back out to play. So this is the grape they use in Chianti, and this is a rosé style, so not too sweet, not too dry. Lovely, lovely sipping. So last time I was here talking to you, I said that I was not going to be attending Woolstock East in Tatamagouche, Nova Scotia. Circumstances changed and I was able to go. Sorry, I can feel hair on me. Yes, so Deborah picked me up at 7:30 on Saturday morning and we drove down. It's about an hour and 20, hour 30 to Tatamagouche from Moncton. It was a glorious morning, and I'm going to have some footage of the festival itself, and I wish I had taken some footage of the drive on the way because we saw the sunrise and it was just a beautiful, beautiful morning. Oh well. I saw so many people there. I'm going to put the footage in here and then I'll come back and we'll talk about the show some more. All right, so that's a little view of the show. And some of the vendors, I was able to take footage of their booths when it wasn't too busy. I will tag as many of them as I can down below. Some of them I've already looked and they don't seem to have presences on online, but I will tag who I can. And firstly, it was an amazing show. It was my first time attending because normally it happens on a Saturday and I work Saturdays, so I don't normally get to attend. So it was my first time. Lots of fiber, felting, different, not just yarn, which was great to see. There was wood turning, things like spindles, and there was beautiful charcuterie boards and some clothes, and yeah, there was all kinds of really great vendors there. Really enjoyed the day. Had lots of time to chat. I had so many people come up and say hello to me, viewers of the podcast, which I still find amazing. So thank you, everybody. I was terrible. I got overwhelmed and excited and forgot to ask names. If I did ask names, I forgot to write it down and promptly forgot. I took very few pictures. I think I've only got 2 selfies, one of which is on my camera, and I'll put it here. It is of Kathleen and I. She came over and chatted, which was lovely. And then I've got a picture that Jillian took. Jillian and I have followed each other on Instagram for quite a while, and we talk a lot. She came up from Halifax for the day. She didn't realize I was going to be there, and obviously I didn't know she was going to be there either. And she was wearing a stunning, whatever side I'm putting it on, Elton cardigan made out of scraps. It was, which I thought was a brilliant idea. So we chatted about that. She took a selfie, and I'll put just the Instagram post here. And then Vivian, What Viv Does, came by, and at the same time when we were chatting, all 3 of us, and that was lovely. I've talked about Vivian before. Her Instagram feed is so inspiring. I'm going to put a video up here in a few minutes, or maybe now while I'm talking. Vivian is a spinner, weaver, crafter extraordinaire. She doesn't seem to have any fear tackling these things. And she had brought her supported spindle along. So it's a different style spindle with a longer, and again, I don't know what the technical term is, but the pointy bit at the bottom is longer than traditional spindles because it's spinning in she had a little ceramic bowl. So I've got a video from Instagram I'm going to put in here because I was so mesmerized watching Vivian do this at the show that I forgot to film any videos. So I reached out to her and asked her if I could show this little clip from Instagram, and she very kindly said yes. So at Woolstock East, they had a little area where people had spinning wheels set up. I think there was a small weaving loom, but it was mostly spinners. So Vivian was sat there, support spindling. And I was just intrigued to see it in person, and we were chatting away. I was asking questions, and I said I forgot to record any video, so I have put that clip up. I will link Vivian down below with everything else. If you're interested in following her on Instagram, I highly recommend it. I saw Noelle from Knits and Pieces came up. Her and her husband were still on the East Coast, and they came to the show, so we had another little chat, and I had to poke through their shopping bags to see what they've been buying. And who else? Sheila last year came to Tatamgouche, to Woolstock East, and dropped off some sewing tape to Deborah at the Yarn Indulgences booth because I'd been talking about gappy necklines on cardigans and things stretching, and she recommended this very thin woven sewing tape that she had lots of, and she dropped off a length of it to Deborah. So she had come, sorry, I just got a message across my phone. She had come to the show and come up to me and said hello and introduced herself in person, which was lovely because we've only talked online. And I still have some of that sewing tape that I need to use on that problematic bamboo cardigan that I showed a couple episodes ago and said I was going to fix, and I haven't. So I also got a chance to chat with Amanda from Red Island Fiber, and I will get to spend some more time with her next weekend in Charlottetown at the PEI Fiber Festival, and that's happening October 6th and 7th in Charlottetown. It's Canadian Thanksgiving next weekend, so we have an extra long weekend, which is nice to be able to get a fiber festival in there and also have our big turkey dinner with family. That's all the names that I have written down that I remembered or made a record of. And again, if you came over and talked to me, thank you so much. It means the world to me that you recognize me and would like to have a chat about socks or various things. And I do love to have a little snoot through your shopping bags and see what you've been shopping and making. So thank you. And if you are coming to PEI next weekend, please do come over and say hello. And maybe I'll be better at my selfie game and actually making note of all of you lovelies' names. So I made three purchases with the thought that I've already been in England and had purchased there, and La Violette has been having some sales and I have made some purchases there. I'll show you those on the full podcast, but I did want to show you what I picked up at Woolstock East. So the first thing is from Shades of You, and this is a double sock blank, as you can see. And you know I'm a big fan of a sock blank. And finding double sock blanks are rare. So this is this gorgeous rainbow gradient number that is going to be the most fun pair of socks. So that I picked up. And the other things I got were fiber related. And I'm not gonna take them out of the bag. This is from Full Spectrum Fiber Art. And it's a set of Rolags that are Falkland, Merino, and Corriedale. So I had showed you some Rolags last time that were very kindly gifted to me by Kirsty on Woolen Wishes, and I kind of felt inspired to have some more Rolags. So these are these gorgeous navy, purple, shots of teal, gray in there. So this is just a different preparation for fiber. The fiber is stretched on a blending board and then it's rolled up to make these Rolags or sausages, and then you can spin directly from them. The last thing that I got is from Wiles Woolies, and it is a gradient. I'm not sure if it's bat. I think it might be roving. It looks like it's roving. Look, so when this gets untied, this ribbon gets untied, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up with a long string of roving to make this gradient turquoise teal. You can see why I got it, because as soon as I saw it on their table, I thought, yes, please, that has to come home with me. It is 114 grams of blue face luster, and Moxie is the name of the sheep that lovingly gifted me this yarn. So those are my purchases. That's all I bought while I was there. And when you see on the next podcast what I've bought since the last time I've seen you, then you'll understand why. What I was knitting on that day, if you were at the show or saw me wandering around, was housed in my little Dolfina bag that I can put on my wrist and knit while I'm standing or walking or whatever. And so I will link Dolfina, the Dolfina Collective, down below. She does fun, sassy bags. And I was working on a sock. I like to use Deborah's yarn when I'm knitting in the booth. So this is her sock marl base in this fun turquoise color. And I was knitting on, it's a By the Shore sock. So this is my first design. It's a fairly easy knit, just a nice feather and fan panel down the front and plain stockinette on the back. And the feather and fan just moves those lines, those horizontal lines, and gives it a nice swirly, wavy, oceany feel. So I think I knit while we were driving too. So I think I worked down the gusset and did a couple inches on the leg on Saturday. Deborah and I hadn't seen each other in over a month, which is quite rare, so we were yakking the whole drive down, which is why I didn't take any take any nice footage of the drive down. So that was what I was working on. So that's kind of my roundup of Woolstock East, and I just grabbed a couple of projects to bring out to show you new cast-ons since I was here last. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen I've cast on the Field Sweater by Camilla Vad. And I've been getting a lot of questions about it, about the difficulty of the yoke and the pattern and clarity. So I thought I would just come on here and give you a quick overview of my thoughts so far. First of all, the yarn that I'm using is a new base for Deborah Yarn Indulgences. This is I have the details here. It is 100 grams of DK. It's called Eco DK. It's a non-superwash South African merino. It is squishy and so soft. It's 246 yards, 225 meters to 100 grams. So I have cast on for the Field Sweater with this. It's going to be half for me and half as a sample for the booth. So if you're coming to PEI, you will see this yoke. It'll probably only get as far as the end of the yoke, I hope, steamed on a hanger hanging in Deborah's booth. So let's show you this sweater. It has been all the rage. If you've been on Instagram or Ravelry anytime over the last few weeks, a couple of months, you will have seen this sweater. It's been everywhere. So it's this gorgeous textured yoke using, her term is grains, a grain stitch. So I did the longer ribbing amount to hopefully bring that neck up a little bit higher on me, because you know I've had problems with the neckline stretching lately. And this is as far as I have gotten. So I have some thoughts on this pattern. I don't want to, I've been talking to some people on Instagram about it, but I bought it right away as soon as the pattern came out, because I've been seeing so much of the hype and the talk about it online without doing any research. And it is gorgeous, and I am going to love it. I love the look of it already, but the pattern does have some issues. From day one, as soon as I bought it and opened up the file, it's not size inclusive, and not as size inclusive as it should be, and that usually is a big red flag for me that I don't normally purchase. The second issue, as soon as I opened the file, it has no schematic, so you get 3 measurements for this garment, 2 of which are really not much use. So you get a chest circumference, and then you get a sleeve length and a body length. Well, both of those are completely customizable, and for me, I think you need to have things like upper arm, around the neck, just some more metrics that if you need to make modifications, as I usually do, that information is there. The third thing is it's not charted, which surprises me because it's a European pattern, and normally they tend to be mostly charted and not written. This is all written, not charted. Not a deal breaker, but definitely could do with some charts to kind of support the instructions. And the last issue I've been having is the English translation is a little difficult to read. I'm having to read things over and over again just to make sure I'm understanding. Now that I'm in the rhythm of it, I've got it, but every now and again something comes up and I just have to stop and read it over a few times and just get my brain in gear. As I said, it's gorgeous, and I'm enjoying it. So, but you should be aware going into this pattern that, those are the issues I'm finding. The other thing that I've been reading online is if you're a tight knitter, doing these grain stitches can be challenging because you are making extra stitches to make that puff stitch, that grain stitch, but then you have to knit them all back together. So you're doing a knit 3 together and a knit 5 together. And if those stitches are tight, it's really difficult to do. So if you are going ahead to do this, my best advice would be to do that increase yarn over combo very loose. So that will allow you to do those knit 3 together, knit 5 togethers. I haven't gotten to the knit 5 togethers. That joy is coming. So as I said, my goal is to get to sleeve separation through the yoke by next Thursday, get it steamed, put on a hanger on try-on cords so that it can hang in the Yarn Indulgences booth at the PEI Fiber Festival as a sample. When it comes home with me after that, I'm going to have to start doing some math because I got to figure out arm circumference. I've got to use my gauge, figure out arm circumference and any modifications and things I'm going to have to add extra stitches. I have quite meaty upper arms and find that I do need to add extra stitches to most of my sleeves. And then I'll have to decide as well if I'm going to move the sleeves back and leave more room at the front of the yoke than I need for the back, because I'm bigger around the front than I am the back, as most of us ladies are. So that's it on the field sweater. As I said, it's a new cast on. I wanted to talk to you and kind of address some of the issues and things that have been coming up in conversations I've been having with people. It's doable. It just takes a little more thought than I was expecting. And I think that's going to be the story of this sweater all the way through. The other things I have to show you. The last podcast I was here, I had said that I had no sock designs on the needles and I didn't really have any thoughts. Boy, that changed. I dug through and found some yarn that I had grabbed for, excuse me, things are falling all over, for a sock design at the Fiddlehead Fiber Festival back in April. I had purchased a sock set from Botanical Fibers. This is her new Sensible sock base. I cannot find the tags and had to reach out to the lovely Emma to give me all of the information. So I will put that on the screen here as far as yardage and composition of this yarn. It's a very plump 80/20, an environmentally superwashed yarn. So good for socks. And I thought these would make a great combination together. So I got out some stitch dictionaries and started playing, and this is what I've come up with. So it's a top down, got a little bit of color at the top and the ribbing. There's a great texture section that's slip stitches, twisted stitches, down into a striped foot with the pearl rose on the change. You are getting the first sneak peek of this. Not even my testers have seen this yet because I'm still measuring up yardage to make sure there is enough yarn in 100 gram, well, even an 80 gram and a 20 gram. It's the 20 gram mini that I'm just questioning to make sure there's enough yardage in 20 gram minis. So I have cast on the first one and cast it off. I've measured and weighed. And then I thought I wanted to try knitting it with a more traditional 75/25, less plump, higher yardage yarn. So I grabbed out of my stash, this one I do have the tag, so I just wound it up, Rose Hill Yarns. I got this from a D-stash locally. I have bought yarn from her online and from her booth at Knit City Montreal. But this is Winter Wonderland sock set. It was a yarn club. So like I said, I got it on a D-stash. I don't know if she still dyes these colors. Just gonna pop it onto a blocker, words. I recorded this yesterday. Did I say this already? I recorded this yesterday afternoon after I got home from work, Saturday afternoon, with a big glass of wine, and things went all kinds of wrong. So you have me like this today because I'm in Sunday mode. All right, so this is the Rose Hill set in these beautiful, beautiful colors. So I've used the contrast mini again, and then I'm striping down the foot. So this one is going to be, I know I have enough of the mini for the 56 and the 64. I just needed to do 2 socks. I'll do some math and make sure I've got enough for 72, and my testers will be able to confirm that for me as well. My goal is to get this out of a a sock set with a mini attached. Even though most of us have lots of scraps, you know, if you've got a 40 gram left over, you could certainly do that and not have any worry about playing yarn chicken. But this is, the name is still, I thought I had a name, but then I changed my mind. So, but it still may be that, but I'm keeping that one to myself. So I probably only got about another inch or so until I start the toe on this one. And then I'll be able to do some math. So these two projects, the field sweater and these socks, are going to be on my needles front and form. Oh my goodness. The most. I'm going to be working on those the most this week because I would really like to get a test call out for this sock pattern, possibly get it into testing, but I don't think so before Thursday. We leave for Prince Edward Island on Thursday. And that field sweater, I want to have that yoke finished, and ready to be steamed and displayed and PEI on Thursday. So, and I have a busy week coming up trying to get everything organized, day job stuff, and then just getting ready to be gone for a few days and then having our family over for dinner for turkey on Thanksgiving weekend. So that's it, my friends. I have no idea how long this is because I've had to cut it up into choppy bits. I'm keeping this one short for a reason, because it's Sunday and I need to be knitting, and the last couple have been quite epically long, and you guys have all said that you love them, and thank you so much for that feedback. I will be recording again after Prince Edward Island. If you haven't watched episode 24, there is a gift away there. I'm giving away 2 yarns from my UK trip that we had in August and September. And that is running until I record again. So I will say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. I should grab that again. Happy nipping. Oh dear. Happy knitting. Happy sipping. And I will see you very soon. Cheers.